Ryan Serhant is a real estate mogul, TV personality, and author best known for his role on Million Dollar Listing New York and as the founder of Serhant, a top real estate firm. He went from struggling to make ends meet as a young actor in New York City to becoming one of the most successful brokers in the industry with over $4 billion in sales and a personal net worth of $40 million. Ryan's rise to fame was driven by his relentless work ethic, charisma, and innovative approach to real estate, which made him one of the most influential figures in the business world today. Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Understand your opponent.
Principle number 1 is understanding your opponent. I try to learn as much about the other side of the transaction as I can. At a bare minimum, if there's another salesperson on the other side of a transaction that I'm doing, I want to find their past sales. I want to read their website. I want to look into their LinkedIn bio. Do they make TikToks? Do they have different accounts? Are they still on Tumblr? Then, when you meet, I want to watch their body language. I want to listen to how they talk. I want to gauge the tone of their voice. Like an NFL team, I'm checking tape. I'm watching the other side, seeing how they act, how they interact, how they react. Are they looking to work together with me, or are they looking to be combative? Are they putting the deal first or their ego first? Do they sound nervous or do they sound confident? And you can do this too with just a sell side person, your boss, anyone you're negotiating with. Doesn't have to be another salesperson if you're in the real estate world, or another lawyer if you're a lawyer watching this right now. It can just be the other side of a negotiation. They're gonna give you signals, and every little signal will help you make a quick evaluation of who you're actually going to be dealing with in the negotiation. You need to strategize on the best approach to get to a close, not for the number, not even for the deal, but for your opposition. What does the opposition need to get this deal done? Do you need to feed their ego? Whenever I'm on the opposite side of someone with a massive ego, they always want to feel like they're winning. Maybe they have jealousy of me, or they're envious of whatever, or they're having a bad day, but they have ego. They want to feel like they're winning. Doesn't matter what their client wants or the deal, they will blow up their whole life to feel like they won. Right? We all know those people, and they're the fucking worst. If that's what you're dealing with, agree with them throughout the process and defer to their expertise. Suck it up. This is as simple as asking questions like, what would you do if you were in my position? Or how would you tell my client that your client won't come up? By doing this, you're gonna let them share their expertise, and they're gonna feel good that they're telling you exactly what they're thinking, and they're telling you what to do, when really what you're doing is you're getting inside their head so that they can give you the answers. Feed their ego. 2, is the opposition new to the business? Do they need guidance? If you're dealing with another salesperson and they're absolutely brand new, it's a very different way to handle those people than handling somebody and negotiating a deal with someone who's been in the business for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Are you dealing with a first-time seller? Are you dealing with a first-time boss? The secret here is to make the inexperienced opposition, either that salesperson or seller, okay, your best friend. Offer them guidance without straight out telling them what to do. So use a couple key phrases. I say, we're in this together. It's never you, it's never me, it's never I, it's us. Let's work together. We both want the same thing for our clients. I've been in your situation before, and this is what I would do. Things like that. Communicating as a friend instead of an opponent will build you trust. And ultimately, you both do actually want the same things for your clients, right? You both do want to get to that deal, but there are always ways to help each other. And understanding the person on the other side is just as important as understanding the person they are representing. In order to do this, you must ask questions to figure out the main interests behind a position, allowing you to figure out a solution instead of being on the defense.
Rule number 2 is control your core identity.
Brand is reputation. If you take a step back and you really try to think about what the math is, like what is a brand? Is it Nike? Is it Apple? Or are those products? Do you remember the logo, or do you remember the way they make you feel? You know, Apple products bring us closer together, have changed your life. Nike products have made you feel faster because they've got nice tennis shoes and you run on them, right? But you love the commercials probably even more than any of the products. So what is brand? Brand, if you really think about it, for all of us, because I think most of us on here are in sales in some way, shape, or form, right? Sales, real estate, selling something, okay? starts with your core identity. So if we're building a personal brand, you have to understand that you already have one. You just either have control of it or you don't have control of it. You have control of that core identity or everybody else does. And a way you can test for this is you can go and talk to someone you trust, not a parent, not a sibling, no one who's going to be shy about hurting your feelings. And you ask them, can you describe me without using my name? And see what they say. Right? I did that, and a guy told me I was the tall, skinny guy with premature gray hair who thought he was funnier than he actually was and looked at the ground when he walked. I was like, what? What about how smart I am? What about like real estate? What about all the things that I do? And he's like, oh, you still do those things? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. He's like, I don't know. So the way he described me, top of mind, was my personal brand. The tall, skinny, white guy with premature gray hair, not as funny as he thinks he is, looks at the ground while he walks. And from that exercise, you can take the best and leave the rest. So I wasn't going to change my hair. My hair actually made real estate much easier for me because people thought I was older. And then they'd see my face and say, I don't get it. And then it was fine. By that point, I'd already won them over. Can't change how tall I am. Can't change the color of my skin, right? I could change that I looked at the ground when I walked. Why did I do that? I had to do like an internal deep dive. Like, why do people know me as the guy who looks at the ground when he walks? That's like being like the guy who has a loose, sweaty handshake. That's like being the person who's got bad breath. And you're like, oh yeah, she's the mom with bad breath. That's the brand? Ugh, how do I fix that? So those are things that you might actually want to fix because your first impression is your last impression if you're not careful. And so I realized, I had rash acne for like 15 years growing up, and it destroyed my self-esteem and self-worth. And so when I was walking in between classes in high school and college, and when I first moved to New York, when I would walk outside, people would stare at my face, but not look me in the eye. They'd be looking around my face. Same thing when I grew up and I was pretty overweight as a little kid growing up, and people would always just look to my body. You know, and I'd be like, eyes up here, Dad. And so those physical attributes ended up becoming part of my core identity, even though I didn't think they were. They were. So brand is core identity, and it's your core identity, the core identity you want to own. What is uniquely you? So you are real estate and what? What's that passion commerce? For me, it was media. I love media. I came to New York to do theater, but obviously I wasn't going to be real estate and theater. That would be weird. But I love media. I love selling property through social. I loved using TV. I liked the media business. I think every company's a media company. They either know it or they don't. So I'm real estate and media. That's my core identity. Then when I'm online, I'm in front of human beings. I'm at a networking event. I'm at the coffee shop. That core identity leaves my mouth, leaves my fingertips. And that becomes the perception then that the world has of me. So core identity leads to perception. And then I leave the chat room. I leave Instagram. I leave the party. I leave the coffee shop. And then people talk about you behind your back. Like, hey, did you just see that guy? I just met that guy. Hey, do you know that guy? Then that's reputation. And like a boiling pot of water, which never boils if you stare at it, that reputation slowly over time turns into brand. And brand is that reputation. And we all have one. You just have to take control of it. And you can now. The platforms that we have at our fingertips allow you to do that today, which is really exciting.
Rule number 3 is prospect for tomorrow.
You prospect for tomorrow. I've done a lot of videos with a lot of you in the hallway talking about deals you're doing today, people you want to meet today. That's fine, and you do it. You need to eat today. But you're prospecting for future you every day. You're prospecting for tomorrow. In 2018 is when I really started thinking about referral sources. Who could give me business where I wouldn't have to necessarily worry about referral fees? Agents in this room, referral fees all day. Let's do it. That's awesome. But where else can I get to that circle of trust? How do I get to the billionaire, the centimillionaire, the person in the middle, and get them to give me business if they don't trust me? There's no like, and trust factor. So one group, wealth managers. Wealth managers every day. the Barron's list, the Forbes list. I started reaching out to them cold. Hi, my name is Ryan. I'm a real estate agent. I'm based in New York City. Congratulations on being number 3. Congratulations on being number 10. Congratulations on whatever it was that I was congratulating them on. Information is public. Would love to treat you to a 5-minute Skype back in 2018. We have clients alike. I help wealthy people find houses. You help wealthy people manage their money. A lot of people ignored me, but some people reached out. You're always prospecting for tomorrow so that future you is excited. Future you is being paid. That's what you're doing. You work for you in the future. That's your only boss. It's not your wife. It's not your husband. It's not your manager. It is you. This is the older version of you. That's your boss. That person's life better be awesome. And it is totally dictated by the hard work that you're willing to do consistently today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day with no end in sight. That's how you win, because everybody else taps out.
Rule number 4 is implement the 2C strategy. Thinking about the people here, they're thought leaders. We have a bunch of people in the real estate space as well. They're already successful entrepreneurs trying to get to the next level. They think branding is the way to do it. What kind of feedback or guidance would you have for them?
Oh, wow. That is a loaded question. Well, first, hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. I flew back from Orlando this morning, raced here, so I would actually be here in my office. Nice camera and microphone for you all. First impressions are your last impressions if you're not careful. That's actually a great branding note, by the way. Right? Most people go about branding the exact opposite way. They start with the things that you would deal with much later in the branding process. But first impressions are key. It's like one of the first things I do with any new stranger that I meet, always, right? Because the greatest clients I've ever had, my wife, my best friends, they were all strangers up until the day that I met them. And so you use the 2 C's. You give them a compliment, that disarms them, right? That gives them trust. Oh, you give them a compliment, amazing dress, great hair, love the X, Y, or Z. And then you go and you find something in common.
Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write down your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description below to go grab it. I'll see you there. Rule number 5 is build trust.
Did anyone ever tell you that during an interview, you should mirror the interviewer's actions? Have you ever heard that or watched YouTube videos about it? So like if you're interviewing with somebody and they're leaning in while talking, you should also lean in while talking. If they're talking in a really soft spoken voice, you should try to match their volume. It's the same thing in sales. By emulating the other person, okay, when you are trying to get to the deal, the win, there's something you want, you emulate the other person, you're achieving one very important goal. You're making them feel comfortable. You're not establishing dominance, you're getting down to their level. You're building that trust, and you're letting them know that you're not louder than them, you're not taller than them, you're not crazier than them, you're not faster than them. You and me, we're the same, because you're the bigger person, you're the better salesperson. You're the one who sells more than anybody else because you know these tricks. So here's how you accomplish this. Repeat their points back to them. Everyone wants to feel like they're making a good case for their clients, right? Or a good case for themselves. So by doing this, you're showing you're listening and you're understanding. You're showing empathy. Many agents actually take this for granted when dealing with a negotiation, right? Many salespeople do. You want to repeat back what the other side is saying to you because you're acknowledging their points. It's going to make them feel better. It's going to make them feel heard. I promise you will get a lot further if you treat every negotiation as a discussion and not a confrontation. The key to negotiating is you're not negotiating. Just like the key to selling is you're not actually selling. No one likes being sold, but everyone loves to go shopping, and they love to shop with friends. Next thing you know, that friend just convinced you to buy 5 sweaters, a bicycle, and get a new car. Wasn't even the plan. I thought we were going to boozy brunch. So from here, right, as you're acknowledging their points, you can start to relate back to the other side. You're not saying, okay, tell me how you do it, right? That's your ego talking. You're not gonna say, well, Bob, if you're so smart, you tell me what to do. Okay? Again, that's your ego talking, that's you on the defense. That's not negotiating, that's not discussing. By acknowledging the other side's feelings and reasons for not giving in to a certain sticking point on a deal, whatever it might be, and oftentimes it's really small, you're often able to get to the true interest behind the positions and then find a creative solution. For example, right now, the conversation that I'm in the middle of to get this deal done, we've agreed in theory to a purchase price. The issue is the seller's apartment we furnished, okay, by buying the furniture. But when you do that through a designer, You don't pay the sales tax until a deal closes. So now my seller wants the buy side to pay a sales tax. It's $1.2 million worth of furniture. That sales tax in New York City is about $115,000 in tax just on the furniture that the buyer thinks is used. I'm not paying tax on it. Include the furniture to get me to buy this place for $26 million. You're gonna hit me with sales tax? I get both sides of it. So it's not even about the deal. It's not even about the money. It's about the principle. And it's my job to understand the opposition for the seller I represent and for the buyer that I'm also handling at the same exact time.
Rule number 6 is understand what your adjectives are.
Something I talk to people about a lot is really understanding what your adjectives are. Like, what are they? Because it's not enough to be pretty. It's not enough to be smart, right? It's not enough to be quiet. It's not enough to be good, right? So I wanted mine to be polished. I wanted people to know that when I work with you, when I email you, when I text you, when I call you, when I speak on your behalf, when I show up to the appointment 5 minutes early, when I do everything I say I'm going to do, exactly when I say I'm going to do it, I do it polished. I would hire someone polished. I want to invest money with someone polished. So polish is one of my adjectives that I wanted to grow into, because I wasn't that polished when I first said that's one of my adjectives. A second adjective was then I wanted people to associate me with success. So successful, because if you associate me with success, then that's what you're hiring. You're not hiring someone to turn lights on. You're not hiring someone to do paperwork. You're hiring someone who's successful because you want to also have that success. I get hired to sell houses now for unimaginable prices because sellers say, oh, you did that already for Bob, Nancy, and Paul. You were successful. I also now want to be successful. Please get me a price just like them or better. So polished, successful, right? Those are two solid adjectives. And I would charge everybody here to make sure that you have at least 2, if not 3 adjectives that when people are talking about you, they instinctually use those adjectives to describe you, because that's how you get referral business. That's how you build a business that's through word of mouth. Right? That's how you create a warm lead audience. That's how you generate leads in your sleep.
Rule number 7 is work the hardest.
My little brother and I always had to do manual labor for our jobs. It sucked. It was the worst. I resented it, fully. But I also credit it at the same time, now. Like, I'm very, very thankful that I had to work in construction and do roofs for years and years and years, because I never want to do that again. And I will work my ass off every day to keep me off of roofs.
So did your dad instill this, hey, you got to work?
Yes, 100%.
That came from him or your mom?
No, my dad, for sure.
And what was he telling you as a kid?
That's, there's a lot of things you can't control, but how hard you work isn't one of them.
Oh, wow.
And
like that.
Everybody else can be taller, bigger, smarter, faster, come from different families, come with money, go to better schools, but you can always show up earlier. You can always show up later. So like when I first got to New York and I wanted to be an actor, I lived with 2 roommates. One was, they were both paralegals because they both wanted to be lawyers. And my dad told me, and I remember, he's like, listen, you don't have a job. You don't have any boss telling you what to do. They do. You're going to wake up before they do and go to bed after they do. You're going to work harder than they do. And that's at least how you're going to know whether this is going to work or not. Because the last thing you want to do is just show up and wait for the phone to ring. And that really kind of rang true to me.
Rule number 8 is take risks.
I love salespeople because we are all so crazy. Like, we're so crazy that we woke up one day and we're like, you know what we want to do? We want to try to get people to give us their money for stuff they don't really need. That sounds like a great idea. That sounds like a great job. You know what? Like a consistent, honest salary with benefits where I'll go to school for it and come home with my white picket fence. Psh, that's for someone else. I want a job. I want a career where there is no ceiling, right? There's also no floor. Because if I don't sell real estate, and if you don't sell cruises, then we got to figure out how we're going to pay our bills, right? But we all looked at that risk, and we looked at how scary that is, and we said, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to do that because it freaks me out, and I've got that adrenaline in my system. And I know you're looking at me now, and you're like, yeah, well, Ryan, you're on $1 Million Listing New York. You've been doing this forever. I haven't really. So it must be really easy for you. But I swear to you, the last thing I thought I was ever going to do in my life was be a salesperson.
Rule number 9 is seize the opportunity.
As a real estate guy for Lehman Brothers when it went under,
Yeah.
I know what your first day of work was like. So you started the day Lehman collapsed.
Yeah, September 15th. Yeah, 2008.
It's a big,
which for a lot of people was a really awful day. For me,
I was one of those.
Yeah. And that, it's tough. I had a lot of friends who worked at Lehman, but for me, I had no money. Like I was either figure out this real estate thing or go home to Colorado. And I got my real estate license. It didn't really all make sense to me yet what was really happening in the world, because if you're living in New York City trying to be an actor, you're not watching CNBC every day and you have no money. So you don't watch the markets, you don't really know. And I just thought real estate was the hardest thing in the history of the world. I just figured that everyone in New York City lost their jobs all the time. Those first 2 years, every client I would get, they would lose their job in 2008 and 2009, and they wouldn't be able to afford apartments. So in hindsight, it was the absolute best time for me to start, because every broker was getting out of the business because they all called the end of the world. And for me, I was there to kind of like pick up the pieces and just sort of figure it out as I went.
And number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is stay positive.
If I wake up every single day and say I'm the greatest real estate broker ever, it might not be true today, but it will be true eventually.
So how important is that affirmation? Like just talk about for
Massively.
you.
Yeah,
What people are saying to themselves every day.
The power of positivity, the power of yes, right? Say yes and figure it out later. Stay positive. And, I always kind of look at it like you're driving in a car, right? And there are two types of people. One person looks out the right window where it's sunny. The other person looks out the left window where it's cloudy. And you both made the same choice to look out a window. One just decides to see a different type of weather. And for me, it's always been like, okay, so it's my choice to wake up upset. Bad things can happen. It's okay to get pissed off, right? And it'll always happen, and balls will always fall. But it is your choice to wake up positively or negatively. And so I've always just made the choice, even if I'm gritting it and I hate it, and I really want to be pissed off and I want people to comfort me and I want to feel bad. That's not a choice I'm willing to make, because I know it's going to affect my day, and no one wants to buy anything from someone who's pissed off. Right? They want to buy something from someone who's enthusiastic, because that's what you sell. You sell enthusiasm every day. And that enthusiasm and that positivity, like that has been a huge, huge boon for me. The biggest tip that I can give to anybody, and it's a question that gets asked to me all the time because people have a hard time with it. Like, how do I close? How do I close? How do I close? But if you think about it that way, then it's automatically going to be hard, because you're thinking about it like something that happens at the end of a relationship or at the end of a transaction.
I like that.
So for me, what I tell everyone on my team, or what I try to tell everybody, is you close first, like at the beginning. Meaning you set expectations. So if you're a client, I'm going to meet you and I want to show you houses.
Yes.
I don't just skirt around the issue, kind of talk about things, go show you houses for 2 months, and then try to figure out how I'm going to talk to you about making offers and doing that, because you've now just set expectations this entire time for 2 months that you're just going to go see houses. And then of course it's going to be weird to try to quote unquote close.
Wait till the end.
Right, to wait to the end. So if you start the expectations early, right, which is the best part about sales compared to like dating, right? But in sales, you can start the expectation early. It's like, okay, I am the greatest real estate agent in the history of the world, right? I sell more than anybody else. This is how this process works, just so you're aware. Let's eliminate a lot of options. Let's narrow down the 10 best options for you to buy now. We're gonna go see them over the next couple days, and then we're gonna figure out which 3 we like the most and which one we're gonna make offers on. Sound good? Nothing is final, nothing's forever. Like, that's the way this process works. And then you get to know them, you hang out. But at least the first thing you did was set up how the process works. So you're not really closing them, you're just following the process. And everybody is okay following a process.
And congratulations, you're 1 video closer to who you're meant to be. For 10 more amazing rules from Grant Cardone, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Everybody can be wealthy. Like, I believe this with every cell of my body. Everybody on planet Earth, 8 billion people, I don't care where you are, who you are, what your problems are, short of maybe the Gaza Strip.